Come on in, pull up a chair, take a load off, because today I will be sharing how to play and reviewing D&D Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness. This is the latest release in the Dungeon Mayhem lineup. This is from Wizards of the Coast. So, is this a frantic, fun, free-for-all card game? Or should this madness be locked in away somewhere in a ward, never to be seen again? Well, you'll find out right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing a how to play as well as reviewing the latest addition to the Dungeon Mayhem lineup of games from Wizards of the Coast. It is D&D Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness. Say that 5 times fast. But first off, do want to point out, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it'll not only notify you when I upload standalone videos such as this, you'll also get a notification every time my live stream, the Daily Dope, starts up Mondays through Fridays. So don't forget, catch me live right here on YouTube Mondays through Fridays. Most Mondays through Fridays. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, as I mentioned, let's jump on in, because today I am going to share how to play as well as review D&D Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness. As I already mentioned, it is from Wizards of the Coast. It's designed by Jordan Komar and Roscoe Wettlaufer. Hopefully I got those names pronounced correctly. Artwork is provided by Cam Kendall. Game is for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 and up. Plays in around 10 minutes, a little more than that sometimes, depending on the player count. D&D Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness arrives in stores tomorrow, which is February 28th. 2020. It does carry an MSRP of $24.95. So without further ado, let's take a look, jump on in, move to the other camera. So here it is. This is a nice size box for the game itself. I have previously reviewed the first release, Dungeon Mayhem, which was for 4 players. Earlier on an episode of the Daily Dope. And I do like it. I think it's a fun game. I didn't care for the artwork so much. And of course, it's not reinventing the wheel. But now that we do have the Baldur's Gate expansion, which gave us a couple more characters, including Minsk and Boo. Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes! As well as 6 new monsters in Monster Madness, I'm liking this even more. This is super easy to get into, and I will talk about how to play in just a moment. We want to open up the box, though, because we have this cool little system here for you to store your various different characters. So there are now a dozen characters for you to play, 6 heroes as well as 6 monsters. So there's a nice mix. And strangely enough, there's no little baggie for all your little markers for the characters as well as your little hit markers. So I put them in a little bag here. But everything's really nicely done. We've got these cool dividers. Here's the artwork that I wasn't super keen on previously. It's all right. That one's one of the better ones. This, the cleric, I kind of felt was, that was weak. And where was the other one? Here we go. The paladin. That artwork, in my opinion, is kind of weak. I mean, no offense to the artist. I'm sure that's exactly what Wizards of the Coast wanted. But I appreciate the artwork that we have seen. Whoops. As a little marker for the beholder falls off into the box. But I do like this artwork quite a bit better. And of course, you're going to see some of these cards for the different monsters that we've got available. So this is Delilah. And then we've got Blurb, the gelatinous cube. I really dig that. I think that's pretty funny. We also have the dragon right here. And we will actually kind of show off the various different cards for a couple of the monsters. We're not going to go into every single monster. That was Lord Cinderpuff. Here we have Hoots Magoots, who happens to be an owl bear. So, some of the different cards. We have Dr. Tentaculus, who is Mind Flayer. I'll give you an idea of some of the cards there. And then we have, this is another one I crack up. It's Mimi LaChase, who is a mimic. I'll give you an idea of some of the mimic cards. All right, so as I said, I really do like how we now have this nice box, nice storage system for our cards. And unfortunately, the original game is still sitting over at my brother's because I had loaned it to my nephew, Cameron. I actually haven't been over there recently to go grab it to put it in the box here because he and his friends like to play it. So that is the box itself. Pretty cool. Really do like that. We do have some rules of play. Very simple to get into. I'll show you those in a sec. Here's something I thought was kind of funny. So we get a deck box in the bigger box, and it'll hold a couple of the decks, either heroes or monsters. So I guess this is here for if you want to take your favorite two characters on the go. Maybe you're going to a friend's house. Everybody's got their own copies of Dungeon Mayhem. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. We get an extra little card box here, little deck box. So the rules themselves, super easy to jump into. As you can see, it's just a fold out, but everything's very clear. The essential rules to this is draw a card, play a card. I mean, there are quite a few different games out there that are similar to that. We do have some new rules for 5 and 6 players as well. I gotta be honest, if you have all of the characters, if you got the 3 releases for Dungeon Mayhem, you could conceivably have a 12-player game if you want to play that long. So, but there are some rules as far as player elimination, as well as who you can attack in larger games with 5 or 6 players. So, got the rules there. Like I said, very, very simple to understand. So, I've got a couple of the decks here. So, we've got Delilah, and we got Blurb. It's funny. I like Blurb. So let's get a closer look here at both of these decks, and I'll explain how the cards actually work. So each of the decks, regardless if it's a hero, monster, what have you, you're going to have a card that's going to explain. It's kind of like your player aid card. It's going to explain exactly what each of the symbols on the cards represent. It'll also tell you what your mighty powers are. Each of the heroes, each of the characters will have a trio of mighty powers that are only for them, that only they are unique to each of the characters. So once again, now that we have a dozen heroes and monsters to choose from, we've got a nice mixture of various different abilities that whatever you like, you can kind of take. So each deck will contain this. Each deck will also contain a hit tracker. So everybody's going to start off with 10 hit points for each of their characters. And you've got a little token here, which on the back, it's going to tell you who it represents. And then on the front, we get just a little picture of the character. So everybody's going to have this. This is what you're going to do. You're going to track your hit points. Everybody's got 10. When you end up with 0, you're out. You're out of the game. Easy peasy. So each of the players will have that as well. So let's take a look at some of these cards, because these cards will have different symbols on them. We have, this is a mighty power right here, the Death Ray. Let's just take a look at some of the standard kind of cards that we've got with the various different symbols available to them. There we go. So I'll explain what each of these symbols mean. So if you have shields on a card, that basically means that that's a defense card. When you play this card, you're going to leave this card in front of you. Anything that's got a shield is a permanent card that's going to stay there. So if your character gets attacked, you're going to lose points from your defensive cards first. And we do have these little hit markers that we can utilize as well, because unlike a famous card game from Wizards of the Coast, damage does carry over from turn to turn. So if you took a hit, then you would simply place that on the defensive card. Once you run out of defense, then this card is discarded into your discard pile. So that we've got the shields. So we also have the crossed swords, which is an attack card. So this attack card, which is double trouble, would do 2 hits. So if I play this on another player, this is going to do 2 hits to that character. We also have hearts and little plus signs, little addition signs on a green card. Easily enough, this regains you a hit. You can only have as many as 10. You can never have more than 10. This regains you a hit point. This allows you to draw another card, because you're going to have 3 cards to start off with, and at the beginning of your turn, you get to draw a card. So it's very easy for you to burn through cards and be sitting there waiting to draw a card and hoping that it's going to be useful. So these additional draws are very, very useful as you play. We've also got the lightning bolt. So we've got Tyranny of Beauty. So essentially this does a hit, gains a hit point back for Delilah, and the lightning bolt means you can play another card. That's right. So if I played this as my first card against the character, it will allow me to play another card. So maybe I'd bust out double trouble on my opponent as well. So we've got the various different decks. We've got the mighty powers. And as you can see, we're going to have all different kinds of cards that are going to allow you. This is another mighty power here as well. Let's see, let's find the other mighty power. There we go. Right there. Wait. Yeah, that's right. So you're going to see what these little symbols mean, and essentially what it is. Here we go. That's another one. Your little player aid for that character is going to help you out as far as what does that symbol do. So we've got this skull. So it says 2 hits, each opponent with no defense cards in front of them. Then destroy all defense cards. So that is the Death Ray. Praise Me has a little star. It says each opponent can choose to praise your greatness. 2 hits to those who choose not to. That's just kind of a funny little thing there. Then we got the Charm Ray. It says until your next turn, choose the target of all attack cards. So every attack card that people are playing, you would be able to say, okay, well, that's going to go against so-and-so, whoever. Of course, there are different cards that are going to allow you to block some of these special mighty powers as well. To kind of give me an idea of the different cards here, just in this deck. Back to back on that one. Mirror, mirror, raise for days. So this is kind of cool. So this would allow you to play this. It's going to let you play 2 more cards. We got Praise Me, Beauty Barrage, Multitask, Double Trouble, Cuter Than You. Like I said, this artwork is fun. I think this artwork is very fun. I like it a lot more than the initial release. Now, the Baldur's Gate expansion did have a different artist as well. I think it may have been Cam Kendall, because it is similar artwork. So there, kind of give you an idea. So this is your deck. You're going to shuffle up your deck to start the game off. I do want to point out the cardstock is okay. It's not phenomenal. It's all right. You're probably going to want to try to find sleeves for these, although they do have kind of an odd shape. They're not your standard playing card size, but I do believe it is a size that you can get. Yeah, just go get some penny sleeves or something like that. One thing I do want to point out, taking a look at the box here, because someone did ask me when I did the unboxing, if you put sleeves on the cards, would you still have space in here? And it looks like you would. It's like you got a bit of wiggle room here, so you would have enough space in the box. Because if you put sleeves on the cards and you can't get them in the box, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of that really nice little storage system there. So that is Dolores's deck. Just as a gag, let's take a look at Blurb. I've been playing Blurb just because I think it's funny. It's my gelatinous cube. There's a card that's like hugs. So, give you an idea here. And like I said, each of the characters are going to be a little different. Some are going to be more defensive minded. Some are more offensive minded. So we got, there you go, hugs. It's like hugs. It's actually one of his mighty powers. Another hugs card. Burped up bones. Another one of his special powers. So when this card gets destroyed, once it takes the 3 hits, right? So boom, boom, boom. Then I get to deal out 2 attacks. So D6 of Doom. I thought that's kind of a funny card. Slime time. Fastest cube alive. Here it come. This smiling gelatinous cube just cracks me up. I know other people are probably like, man, that's just silly. Of course it's silly. It's supposed to be kind of a silly, fun game. Sugar Rush. Former friends with the little... It looks like he's a little halfling in there. Who's kind of... He's like a gnome or something. Anyway, so that kind of gives you an idea of the different decks. And of course, the your hit card, as well as your little player aid card, will have the character artwork on them. The rest of the cards that are part of your deck are just color coded. So each of the dozen decks have a different color to them. All right, so something else I do want to point out. When you're playing, normally, you got 3 cards. Normally in your turn, you're simply going to draw a card from your deck. Ta-da! Get those out of the way. You're going to draw a card. You're going to start with 3 cards. You're going to draw a card. And you're going to play a card. So let's say, for an example, I go, I'm playing Acid Burp on... let's say we're playing Mimi Lechair. So I go, I'll play an Acid Burp. So I get to do a hit. I get to play another card. So I can say, oh, wow, yeah, I can play that. Get another hit. Play another card. But I might not want to burn through all my cards so quickly. Plus, I also have a couple of mighty powers in my hand. So I might just start off and say, okay, well, I'm just going to do the little Acid Burp here and then pass it on to somebody else's turn. So you're basically going to play as many cards as you want, as long as you have little lightning bolts. Otherwise, you're just going to play 1 card. You're going to apply the effects, and then it's going to move to the next player. That goes, and you can attack anybody at the table. It doesn't matter who's where if you're playing 2 to 4 players. If you are playing 5 or 6 players, or like I said, if you got every deck, you got a party going on, you want to break this out, knock yourself out. You can play up to 12 players, I guess. If you want, it just takes a little bit of time. So in 5 or more players, what you're going to do is you're only going to be able to attack with regular attack cards. So this would be considered a regular attack card. This one right here. You can only attack the player on your left and on your right with regular attack cards. You can utilize mighty powers against any of your opponents. So that is one of the rules that, and I understand why that's in place there, because otherwise it'll get just too crazy, and the game is just going to drag on and on and on if, it's pick on anybody you want. So I do appreciate those changes to the rules. Something else that is out there as well is that if you are removed from play, and this is in a 5 or 6 player game, if you're knocked out of the game, you stay as a ghost. You're a vengeful ghost. And as a vengeful ghost, when it comes to your turn, you don't get to draw cards or play cards or anything like that, but you get to deal out 1 hit to any of the players, unless they only have 1 hit left. So it's so the ghost can't be the person who knocks the player out, because it would be kind of rotten if you're like, wait a second, you got knocked out, like first person out of this game, and now you're going to knock me out with your little ding, 1 hit. So that is the other rule. Otherwise, that is really essentially how to play Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness, the latest release in the Dungeon Mayhem lineup from Wizards of the Coast. So let's swing over to the other camera, and I will share my final thoughts and provide my review score. All right, so there you have it. I actually like Dungeon Mayhem. I think D&D Dungeon Mayhem is fun. My original review, I gave it a 7.9 out of 10. But I dinged it a little bit because of the artwork, and it's, like I said, it's not reinventing the wheel, but it is a lot of fun. And it's, if you like, kind of take that, zing, 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 real fast games, you will really, really like it. I do like the new box with the storage as well. I think that's very cool, so you can put all the decks in it. I do like the artwork. I think the artwork is an improvement from the original game as well. I like the fact that now we have 6 monsters to choose from, so we have some more unique characters. We've actually doubled up how many unique characters there are to play. And all in all, I think it's a really nice production, especially at the price point that it comes at. So I have to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give D&D Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness an 8.4 out of 10. I do like it. I do recommend it. It is silly. It is light. If that is not your sort of game, obviously enough, you're not going to want it. But for the rest of us who get a kick out of, kind of wind up, wind down games, as I like to say, wind up a night of gaming, wind down a night of gaming, this works perfectly. And of course, D&D Dungeon Mayhem Monster Madness is available in stores tomorrow, February 28th. All right, so that's it for this time out. As I like to point out, if you like the video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you do so, ring the little bell. It'll not only notify you when I upload standalone videos such as this, it'll also tell you when the Daily Dope airs, my live stream Monday through Fridays right here on YouTube. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I am Jeff McAleer, and thank you very much for watching. And until next time, happy trails. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.